Hi guys and welcome, I am Enigmius and today we are in the Nether taking a look at our quarries. That's right, we finally got quarries set up in the Nether. We're going to be taking a look at those, seeing what they're doing, where they're set up and all that good stuff. And then we're going to be taking a look at the sorting area I've set up in the Spire. Everything that I learned in the Hive got put together in the Spire in a way that actually blew my mind. So we're going to take a look at that, but first let's go find the quarries. You can see here actually, if you look in the top left, you can see the frame of the first quarry already. I didn't want them to be very far from the Spire just because the farther away they were, the less chance that they would load. We need to take care of this ghast before he shoots us out of the sky. Yeah, that's right. Dogfighting with the ghast. Did he drop anything good besides experience? No. Jerk. Anyways, heading up to the quarry. You can see this one is actually smaller than most of my quarries. There's a reason for that, and I'll show you that momentarily. But it's clipping along fairly nice. It hasn't been going for too long. It's gone through, looks like about 8 or 9 layers or so. So it's doing its job. These basalt cobblestone shacks are actually where I'm hiding the quarry blocks themselves, giving them a little bit of protection from stray ghast fireballs. I didn't want them out in the open. The quarry block plus the 2 teleport pipes account for 13 diamonds. So 13 diamonds in each shack. Definitely I felt a measure of protection was warranted. So you can see this guy, he's full length. He goes the full length of a normal quarry that I have in the overworld, but just kind of narrow. And that's because you can see I've got, this is the other quarry here obviously, you can see I've got sort of a space in between them. And that's because right now in the overworld, I'm having to move quarries around, clearing out little wee narrow strips of land between where quarries were adjacent to one another in the past. And it just feels like I'm wasting my time a little bit. So I don't mind setting up a quarry once this one is done, and once this one is done, setting up one in between to clear out a larger stretch of land where it feels like it's doing something useful instead of just clearing out that little wee tiny strip. So that's why this one isn't necessarily as wide. You can see fair number of resources peeking out. There's some coal, there's some redstone. Actually, redstone I'm finding that I'm always running out of lately. I've got my own private supply in my crafting area in the Hive, but as far as the redstone powering or, you know, material supply for my automated solar panel thing in the Hive, always running out. So between redstone and rubber. So then we've got this guy over here. This is a full-size quarry, which I was surprised that I was actually able to get this set up. I had never been up here before I came up here with the quarries. I just saw from the Spire that there was a tall area where I could set up a quarry and have it go down through a lot of material, but I didn't really see it, you know, close up. So when I came up here and found a big open area where I could easily fit a full-size quarry, I thought that was kind of cool. So that's what I did. I set this guy up, and obviously he was actually the first one set up, but because he's digging through a lot more material, he's obviously not as far down as the other guy. Now, one of the things that I noticed as I was getting them set up is that they still cause ore explosions. Like when the quarries first set themselves up and they're clearing out the extra material between the frames before the gantry comes down, that can trigger ore explosions, and also just while the bit is moving along with the gantry, it can trigger ore explosions, and you can actually see these holes here, and there's, yeah, fires beneath them. That's because of ore explosions. The good news is that they don't damage the quarry in any way. My biggest concern was that, you know, it would damage the bit or the gantry or something like that, and I would have to come back and reset the quarry or do some sort of crazy nonsense that would just be irritating, but they just keep going. It actually doesn't even recognize the gantry as being a solid object, and any damage that's done to the frame is automatically repaired. It's just instantly repaired, same as any other source of damage. So that was good to know, because I've actually had ghasts blow up parts of the frame, lobbing their fireballs at me, and I've seen fireballs go directly through the gantry and stuff like that. So quarries are definitely safe once you've got them set up. The only thing that I could suggest is if you don't need to be standing next to the quarry block itself, don't be, because you're basically the target for the ghast fireballs. So if you're standing next to the quarry block and it gets blown up, that's pretty much your fault. So really, as far as that goes, there's not much more exciting to show you. The only other thing that I want to point out is that these guys aren't just extracting resources that I can use to build this or do that. They're actually excavating the site of our next major nether structure build. Like, I've got plans for the overworld and I've got plans for the nether, and the next major build in the nether will be in this area once it's excavated down to the bedrock. So this is definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm also looking forward to seeing a big chunk of bedrock in the nether, because the nether is that place that nobody likes to go to. The only time they go to the nether is they duck in real quick for glowstone and then they get the hell out. So to have full-scale mining operations in the nether, I think is actually kind of cool. So we've got that is taken care of. That's underway. Everything else that I do in the nether, I've still got my Tesla coils to finish setting up. I've got my entrance and exits to the spire to work on. All the time that I'll be doing that, I'll also be extracting materials with my quarries, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to head on down here now, back to the spire. We'll actually take an exterior look at the sorting room. It's right here. It ended up looking kind of like a spaceship, I think, even though that wasn't the intention. I tend to do a lot of circles. Like, you notice the hive is a circle, the weapon testing facility is a circle, the power plant is a circle, and I thought, you know, after a while, circles get almost as monotonous as rectangles and squares. So I decided to do something a little bit different this time. It's still obviously got round elements, but it's also got some straight and angular elements to it as well. It just kind of came out looking a little bit like a spaceship. And this is my new favorite downtime hobby, actually, is pushing pigmen off the sorting room. Because I can. That guy, he won't be coming back. And his friend over here. See, my artificial intelligence is better than the pigmen. And they push me around a lot. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, the pigmen push me around a lot when I'm working or whatever, so it's a little bit of payback. And I've actually... That's not a trick of the video playback speed. That's actually the running speed when I hold down the boost key with my quantum suit leggings. I'll actually show you this very quickly. So you saw the run speed. And then I've also got the quantum suit boots, which in addition to negating most fall damage... Oh, I gotta take off my jetpack. Otherwise it won't make any sense. This is the jump height that you get with the quantum suit boots. There's no jetpack equipped, that's just the boots. Now you can still die instantly if you fall far enough, but you can see, you can hear the crunching noise, and I'm not dying, I'm not taking any damage. So there's those. Plus, and a hint as to what we'll be doing in the next episode, I've got the quantum suit helmet, which does two things. One, it keeps my food bar pretty much full. It's always one chicken leg from being full, but it stays there all the time. So my health is always regenerating. I don't have to worry about carrying food so much. The other thing is it allows underwater breathing, which is absolutely friggin' fantastic. And yeah, we'll be doing some fun stuff with that in the next episode. But for this episode, I want to show you the sorting room, because this was, I was thinking, okay, it'll be a sorting room just like the hive, blah, blah, blah. But this actually, when it was done, it blew my mind how simple but how effective it is. It's taken everything that I learned from the stuff in the hive and just brought it to that next level where it goes from being good to being friggin' elegant. But here is the first step. And this has nothing to do with sorting so much as because the quarries are out of viewing range. This allows me to look at a glance and see that both quarries are in fact pulling material, so that means they're both okay. Each one of these is receiving on the frequency that each one of the quarries is sending on. It sends the material down here so that I can see it, and then these teleport pipes here are sending on the same frequency, which is where they're received over here on this pipe. I'll have to put my jetpack back on because I like to jump around these machines even though I don't have to. So the initial system, like if you recall in the hive, in the overworld, the way it works is I receive things from the quarries with a teleport pipe like this, and then it passes through a diamond transport pipe where it gets sorted into like 5 different tubes, and then they get sent to different places, and sometimes to machines, and sometimes here and there, and other times stuff. In this case, it just goes directly into this buffer, which is kind of like a chest, like a small chest. But every 5 seconds, it emits a redstone pulse that triggers this filter, which then grabs whatever happens to be in the first slot with an item. So you can see it just grabbed 10 netherrack. This one will probably be similar. Yeah, it grabs 10 more. Sends them out as a partial stack. If the buffer is more full, like if it's getting close to full, it starts emitting the pulse faster so that items go out faster. So you can see there's no sorting going on here. All I'm doing is converting from this kind of pipe to the pneumatic pipe. And then they go all the way down that pipe. And I'll get up here and show you. They just basically come down here and they pass along over these filters. These filters are over all of my different machines. If you jump down here, these white blocks are all macerators. I don't know why the texture isn't loading. I tried reloading the game a couple times. I didn't have time to fiddle with it. So rotary macerator, that's what the white blocks are. So this stuff is passing over the filters above the macerators. You can see here. So this will grab any nether copper ore that comes by. This one is nether tin, nether iron, and so on. Similar to what I've got for my macerators and my furnaces in the hive. But you'll notice again, there's still nothing here that's sorting to, you know, macerators. There's nothing saying go to macerators, go to furnaces, go to whatever. It's just passing over the tubes, and the filters are pulling out what they need. Then we get over here, and we get things like dust. And all the way down, and anything that isn't grabbed by one of these filters along here comes over here. If it happens to be netherrack or gravel, it gets sent into the energy condenser. Otherwise, it just gets dropped into this chest. And you can see in this chest, we've got ingots, we've got refined lapis lazuli, we've got refined redstone, we've got coal. And the reason why that is because, let's say, for example, I get nether iron ore. The filter pulls it into the macerator, which converts it to dust, and then this retriever here pulls the dust out of the macerator and actually sends it through, back, and up, and directly back into the tube network. So then it starts, basically it'll route to any filter that wants whatever, you know, iron dust. So we made iron dust. The retriever pulls it out, sends it back into the tube network. If there's a filter that wants iron dust, it'll go to that filter. Otherwise, it'll go to the chest. In this case, we do have a filter that wants iron dust. So that filter will pull it out into this furnace, which will turn it into an ingot. The retriever will pull it out the front of the furnace, back into the tube network. And then because there are no filters that want iron ingots, it sends it down into this chest. So it's a very passive but very fluid sorting system that grabs what it needs and leaves what it doesn't. And eventually it gets down to the point where, like, for example, you'll see there's machines here with no filters over them. That's because I don't have the item to put into the filter to tell it what to grab. So that item, whatever it is, when I do get one from a quarry, will end up in this chest, and then I can take it out of the chest and put it in a filter, and then that will get processed. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and you may have already noticed, is we look over here, nether copper ore and nether tin ore don't macerate down into dust. They macerate down into their overworld or counterparts. So these are tin ores that I haven't set up to finish processing yet. So what I've done for at least a copper is I've set up another macerator that takes that nether copper, you know, the overworld copper ore, converts it into dust, and then it goes through the filter. And it's all I had to do was put a filter over a machine and put the copper ore over it, and I didn't have to do anything with the sorting system. It was all completely taken care of just like that. So that was like, blew my mind. Actually, I was like, okay, what do I have to do to sort it? And then I realized nothing. So I was like, okay, every time I do a sorting system now, this is exactly how it's going to work. So I need to set up another macerator for the tin. I'm saving these unused ones for, I'm hoping, diamonds. Lots of diamonds, and one open for anything else. And this one obviously will be silver. It's in the natural progression of ores. When I get nether silver ore, there will be a filter set up here for that. And then I will have, when I get tin dust, I'll have a filter for the tin dust to turn to ingots, silver dust to turn to ingots, and then I'll have to start setting up another row of machines down on the front here for anything else. But that's also a part of the beauty of it, is I can pull power from these black cables. I can pull the redstone current that keeps the machines charged from this one here. And then I just have to hook up machines to the tube network in front, and all the sorting is done. Just set up the filter and it's good to go. So that's my Nether sorting facility. Still a little bit of work to do. I don't know what I did, but somehow I lost my timer. There was a timer right up here, and it was giving, or actually right there, and it was creating the redstone pulse that was going through this cable that was feeding everything that wanted a redstone pulse. And I went looking, I noticed it wasn't pulsing, and I went up there and it was gone, so I don't know what happened. Oh, the other thing I can show you, you can't generate blue electric power in the Nether because there's no solar, there's no sun to allow solar panels to work, and you can't have water or ice, which you would need if you wanted thermopiles to work. So I've got a couple of blue electric battery boxes here. And what I do is I charge up a bunch of batteries in the overworld, the blue electric batteries, bring them here, stick them in this chest. This filter pulls out full batteries and feeds them into the battery boxes as they need them. This retriever pulls out empty batteries and stores them in this chest so that I can take them back to the overworld and recharge them. And that's basically as close as I can get to conveniently charging blue electric battery boxes in the Nether. And it's pretty convenient, I have to say. I don't have any complaints about it. The only thing is I have to set up an automated charging system in the overworld so that I don't have to manually charge all the batteries. So that's where we're at, is sorting and doing all that craziness like that in the Nether. We've got the 2 quarries, we've got everything set up. I've never seen Nether operations set up like this. I've seen adventure maps in the Nether where people have, you know, gone in creative mode and set things up, but I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone with any kind of substantial operations in the Nether. Now, I know they're out there, I know people do it, but I was actually pretty pleased to get this done. So I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Next time, we'll actually be in the overworld. We're going to be doing some testing. We're going to test some ways of doing mining in very quick and large scale, and some underwater stuff, some fun swimming and building underwater. So if you're enjoying the series, make sure other people know about it so they can enjoy it too. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.